Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. I'm Barb. Today I'm going to make this absolutely gorgeous little couch. The first thing I did was take a top to a I think it's a pasta tin, and I carefully drew around it to get the shape that I wanted, and I made all kinds of accurate measurements, and I took this ostomy measurer to put the round arms that I wanted exactly at the height that I wanted. You can see all my fancy little measurements. And then the next thing I did was throw the whole thing in the garbage and start again. So basically I just kept drawing and drawing until I got a shape that I was happy with. And the lines that you can see on here are basically just so that I knew each side was the same. So then I'm just very carefully cutting this out of cardboard. Now you, of course, could use some foam board if you wanted to, or anything else. I'm just using cardboard because I have a lot of it around my house and it's easy to get and it's free and cheap. The next thing that I did was cut 4 pieces for the base of the couch. Now these are a little bit shorter than the back of the couch because I want the back of the couch to be the width of the 2 arms plus the base. For the depth of the cushion, I just set a Barbie doll on here and kind of made a guesstimate of what width I thought a cushion for a Barbie doll couch should be. When you're cutting this, be sure not to angle your blade or you're going to end up with some beveled cuts, and it's going to make it harder to keep all your measurements the same when you put all these pieces together, making your entire couch more difficult to put together. Now you can see I've got the 4 base pieces. I'm putting it up against the back, and then I'm deciding how long I want the arms to be, which will be the depth of the base, and then how wide. So I'm going to end up cutting 3 pieces here, 3 little pieces, and stack them together for the arms of the couch. So that's all I'm doing here, is just going to measure it out so that I can cut the 3 pieces for each arm of the couch. I'll try to put some measurements in the description box, but they're really more guesstimates because I just measure as I go along and change things up as I need them to be. But it'll give you guys a little bit to go by. So now that I got these cut out, I am going to make strips to make the round part of the arm. You could use dowel rods for this, but I don't have any of those, so I am just going to use some cardstock here, and I'm going to make these the width of the arms, or the length of the arms, I'm sorry, and I'm going to cut these, and then I'm going to roll them up and see if I can get them to work. Okay, so I'm going to take my base pieces, my back, and then my side pieces that I cut out, put them all together here. Then I'm going to make sure that my strips are accurate, and I'm going to want to roll them up. Now I'm going to try to roll them up as tight as I can, because when you roll these really tight, you can always kind of let them unwind to make the diameter of dowel rod that you want. So I'm just going to start out by trying to get them to roll up really tight here. You also want to make sure as you're rolling them that you try to keep the ends in tight and not let them kind of spiral out. You just want to keep them rolling up tight. There we go. We'll tap them off, and then we'll try them and see if they fit here. Well, maybe I will. There we go. Perfect. Okay, now I'm going to take my hot glue gun and run some of this along in here and burn my fingers, of course, which I always seem to do, but I'm going to hold this for a minute. And then what I think, because I can't hold these long enough, I think what I'm going to do is take a rubber band and just wrap them around here a minute and let them get nice and set while I do the other one. Okay, so here we are. I've got both of them done, and I've got my side pieces glued together. There's 3 of them in here, and I just glued them with some hot glue. And so now I'm going to stick my little rolls on top. I'm just going to hot glue them up there. I don't like to use hot glue on anything that you're going to see, but since this is the framework of the couch, this will work just fine like this. Okay, we will quickly do the second one. Just add this little paper roll on here. And these are really pretty sturdy, and I think they're going to work just fine. But like I said, if you want to use dowels, go ahead, or maybe little pieces of foam. I've got some little foam that came in a couch that look pretty good. There you go. I think those look pretty good. Now that we've got those ready, I'm going to take the 4 base pieces of the couch and just hot glue them all together again, just with hot glue, because you're not going to see it anywhere. And just want to try to stack them up, get them as even as you possibly can, the edges, because the better you're cutting out and your measurements and putting together, the easier, like I said, that the whole couch is going to be for you to put together later. So just quickly hot glue all these together. Okay, for the back, I drew 3 lines on here. I'm trying to make a diamond design. This is the first time I've ever done that, so I really don't know what I'm doing. So I just drew 3 lines and then kind of alternated or staggered the dots, and now I'm just poking through the dots to help it be easier for my needle when I'm going to try to stitch this after I put the foam on. Like I said, on this part, your guess is as good as mine. Maybe there's some tutorials somewhere on how to do this. I just kind of made this up, and I'm hoping and praying that it works okay. Like I said, I want to make a diamond pattern by stitching through here, and then I'm going to add some pearls on here to kind of beautify my little couch. So we'll see how this goes. Okay, the next thing I've done is cut out some, I think this was 1 centimeter foam. It was the narrowest foam that I could find at Joann's. And so I glued that to the back, and now I've cut a little strip that I'm going to glue along the top here to cushion the back of the couch. I want this to be a really cushy couch, so I'm hoping this is going to be enough to do it. Okay, I'm going to move on to the material now. This is a cute little Care Bear pajama outfit, I guess is what it is. So I got this at the Goodwill for a few dollars, and I don't think there's any point in wasting this cute little hooded part here. So I'm going to cut it off and make it into a little hat for one of my grandbabies. But yeah, I think this material is in really good shape, and I think it's going to work really well for a plush couch. So let me find a good piece here for my back. Okay, now I'm going to put some tacky glue on here and glue this material down. Now, I guess I could have trimmed this material a little bit closer to the foam than this in the backing, and I probably should have cut some little darts in it, but I didn't. That's just me, I guess. So I'll just do my best to kind of get this to lay on here as flat as I possibly can. I'll cut these big chunks out. And this is the back of the couch that you're looking at. And that you can see my grid there that I'm going to try to stitch my little design in. So yeah, I probably should have clipped all these corners and everything a little bit better before I started here. But you just do better with yours. Don't do what I do. Just do better with your own. So I'm just going to continue around here and try to get this to lay nice and flat and plush. I think it's looking really, really good. I think it's going to turn out well. I'm getting a little bit nervous here about the stitching part that's going to come up. So let me get this trimmed or glued down here all along the edges and all along the bottom. Because like I said, this is the back of the couch. I'll put a back cover piece on here. And that the real nice side is the front of the couch where the design should be. So this needs to come up here and be glued on every single edge. And then I'm going to take some clips to hold this. Now if you put your glue on here too thick and you put these clips on here, it will soak through your fabric. So that's something that you just want to be real careful about. Okay, here I have been working on my stitching. You can see where I'm kind of getting a diamond shape. They're not perfect by any means. It's a little hard when you're going through the front side to find that hole. I don't know if this is the correct way to do this or not, but this is the way that I am doing it. I did decide to go with a little bit darker thread. I thought that would help the diamonds show up a little bit more. So there you see me going in the back through one of the holes that I can find, and then pulling it tight. Each stitch I'm trying to pull tight so that it makes this shape, and then trying to find the hole on the front and running it back through the back, but it's a little bit difficult to do. Maybe some of y'all out there know how to do this better, and you want to put some comments down there and lead me in the right direction. I'm sure there's some YouTube tutorial or something out there somewhere that tells you how to actually do this. But, you know, the best way to learn is to try, I guess. And I think it's going okay, so I'm happy with it. I just wish it would hurry up and get done. This is a little bit of a long process here. Now when I get this all done here, I'm going to take some hot glue and put it all along the stitches on the back to kind of hold them. Hopefully they won't break or come loose that way. Alright, moving right along, I'm going to do these sides here. Now I want to glue this down. It doesn't have to come all the way to the bottom on the side that faces into the couch, but I want to cover the bottom here, so I'm going to put some tacky glue there, and I'm going to put some all along this side. This is the outside that's really going to show, so I want to glue this down really well here. And then I really want to define the roll on the top, so I want to get a lot of glue up in there, but not so much that it's going to seep through my material or anything, and get these covered. So let me see what happens here. Okay, this is the second one. Let me show you the first one real quick. Maybe I'll show it to you. This is the front, but there's going to be another piece that goes over that, and this is the back that'll be covered up by the back of the couch, and that piece right there was the inside. So I'm going to glue this one up really good, and I guess I have decided, I don't know what I was thinking, to put a little scrap piece on here. It doesn't really matter, because this, once I get this all wrapped up, it is going to be covered by another piece. So I'm just going to use some little scraps here so that I'm not wasting any more material than I need to, because I really like this material. I'll have to go back to the Goodwill and see if I can find some more real pretty material like this to use. This is a lot cheaper than going and buying it by the yard or half yard, whatever you need for projects. Oh dear, I probably could clip these corners and things better than I'm doing, but it just is what it is. Like I said, you're just not going to see a whole lot of this. Okay, so what I'm doing here is taking the inner arm. This couch has an inner arm and an outer arm. So basically the outer arm is going to be wrapped over the inner arm. But what I'm trying to do here is figure out the height of the base of my couch so I know where to start gluing the outer arm on, if that makes any sense. So that's what I'm doing here. I've got the cushion I'm going to use for the seat and the base of the couch, and I'm just going to mark it here so I know where to put that outer arm on. I'm going to do the same thing to this arm. This inside piece here is going to be covered by that outer arm. It's going to be glued on this side and flip over the top and then glued on the outside. Okay, this is the foam piece that's going to make up the outer arm. I'm going to cover it with fabric, and this is how it's going to glue onto the inner arm to make those big, fat, cushy arms. So I'm just going to clip the edges here to make the transition a little less noticeable when it goes onto the inner arm of the couch. Okay, I am now going to cover both pieces of the foam. Now remember, these pieces of foam are going to go over the arms of the chair that we've already covered. So it doesn't have to totally cover up this piece, because part of this will face the back of the couch, which will be covered by the back of the couch, and then this kind of part where you can see the foam on top where I'm folding it in, that's going to be on top of the arm, so you're not going to see it either. So I want to fold in the front edge here. You can see I've cut the corners diagonally a little bit. Probably could have cut them a little bit closer. But I'm just trying to make this front edge look nice and smooth as I can. And I'm going to clip this. Now if you put that glue on too thick, it's going to come through there. But I'm just going to try to, especially the front edge of this, I just want to try to get it to look really nice. This is kind of going to be a big chunky arm anyway. So I don't think it's really important, but you just want it to cover up and make the corners as smooth as you can. Like I said, I think I probably could have clipped those corners a little bit more, but I didn't. So it is what it is. Okay, this one I tried just a little different technique of kind of clipping the corner. I'm going to try to fold in those edges and then turn it down like a Christmas package. I think that'll work pretty well. So here we go. We'll carefully put this down and hold it a minute, try to get it to stick. Probably have to put some clips on here again like I did the first one to hold it. Now here's what I'm talking about where I just don't like to put hot wax on things. These corners and things, I just don't want any hot wax showing out the edges of my corners. So I just like to take my time and use tacky glue. It's an easy thing to be in a hurry and want to throw some hot glue on there, but then you're just going to ruin your project. So it's just better to take your time and allow the tacky glue to set up naturally and then have a nice looking project at the end. Okay, this is the little piece that's going to go across the front of the couch. So I'm just going to cover it up with the tacky glue and the fabric. You can see that I trimmed the corners a little bit diagonally there to make it go on here a little bit easier. So I'm just folding up the ends, then folding over the sides. Once I get that all done, this little piece will be complete and ready to put on the front of the couch. Okay, so we glued that on the front. Now, here's my situation. I did not film putting the outer arm on the inner arm, so I'm going to let you look at this. You can see that fat outer arm that I covered, and I just glued it right on top of the inner arm. And now I'm putting the unfinished side of the inner arms, I'm gluing those to the base of the couch. Just like this. Those parts that I didn't finish on the inside arm are not going to be seen at all. Unfortunately, I didn't videotape myself doing the outer arms, but I'm freezing right here because I want you to notice that the left outer arm comes down closer to the base of the couch than the right one. I didn't videotape myself doing this. I don't remember doing it, but there it is. So obviously I did it. Anyway, moving on, just making sure that these are both glued onto the base of the couch. And now we're going to put the back of the couch on. I'm just using hot glue for this. I don't think anybody is going to notice it. I'm putting it in areas where you're not going to see it or anything. So it should work out real well, and I think it'll hold this real well. Okay, so next I'm going to put the back on the couch. So I'm just cutting around the back of the couch a little bit longer than what the edges are. And I'm going to tuck this under. I could have put this on a piece of cardstock, and if I do this again, that's what I'm going to do to make it more defined in the shape that I want it to be. But right here I'm just using some hot glue, folding the edges under, and then I'm just going to glue it to the back of the couch. Okay, there we go. Isn't that gorgeous so far? So yeah, just put enough glue on there to make sure it's sturdy. Next thing we're going to do is cover up the bottom. You could leave it uncovered if you wanted to, but I don't like it that way. So I'm just going to cover it up. here is probably where I noticed that my arms were off. And I thought, what the heck? But anyway, let's move on. Okay, so again, just cut the shape of the bottom a little bit bigger. I'm tucking under my edges because I just like finished edges. And going to glue this on here just like I have everything else. You can see that little heart on here because this was a Care Bear pair of pajamas. So I'm going to go ahead and use the piece that has the heart on it. And there I've put the pearls on the back. I just hot glued the pearls and the little flowers on the arms. And there it is. Absolutely gorgeous, I think. And see, I think the back would have been a little more defined if I had put cardstock under that piece of material. But it looks awesome. I'm so proud. Next thing I got to do is put some... Isn't that cute? Look at that heart. My grandbabies are just going to love it. But I'm going to make a base to put underneath this there we go. This is my little handsaw. Just going to cut out 4 pieces to go around the base of the couch. And then I'm going to put some legs on there. This is a handy, handy little tool. If you don't have one, get one. I have a bigger saw in the shop there, but I don't like to get up and have to go over there. And this cuts these little pieces of stick really well. So like I said, I'm just going to cut 2 long ones and 2 short ones for the sides, glue it all together, and then I'm going to add 4 legs on here, and I should be done after that. Okay, here we go. Gonna glue this piece onto the bottom of the couch, and I hope I'm gonna be done. This is gonna be so awesome. And there we go. Beautiful, beautiful. Just gotta clean these little fuzzies off of here. Okay, so there's mine. I'm so proud of this. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. So go ahead and give it a try yourself. Leave in the comments below if you did. Send me a picture of it, whatever. I'd really like to see yours. And yeah, isn't this awesome? My grandbabies are absolutely going to love it. The little heart is so cute. You know, I left my base here just plain, but you could varnish it. You could paint it. I thought about painting it pink, but decided to just leave it this way. Look at that.